Hi kids! Rio here. Welcome back to the channel. Today is not Wednesday. Today is my super secret special extra review. I'm super excited about this, you guys. Today we're going to be talking about Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
Thank you all for coming to this special occasion.
So kids, I actually got to go see Beetlejuice last night. I got to go to a special screening that was hosted by an organization called Transcendent Events. If you're not familiar with Transcendent Events, they do all this really great cool stuff. They do like a nerdpocalypse party and like a nerd prom, movie screenings. They help host conventions like StellarCon. They are just a hub for all the local nerddom, geekdom, fandom around this area. And if you've ever seen anything that's being hosted by Transcendent Events, you should definitely go.
When you're all driving carpool and banging your Pilates instructors to fill the empty voids in your life, we'll see who gets the last laugh.
So obviously, unless you've been living under a rock, no offense to your rock, today, September 6th, is the official release date for Beetlejuice, which is the sequel to the original Tim Burton film from 1988. A lot of people have been very excited to see this thing. I was very excited to see this thing. So let's talk a little bit about the story and a little bit about what happens in this movie.
Daylight come and we want to go.
So coming into the film, one of the first things that we are instantly given at the beginning of the film is that we find out that Charles Dietz has passed away, apparently on a bird watching expedition, some sort of vacation he was doing. And through a series of unfortunate events, he is no longer with us. So what happens now is that the family all has to come back together for a memorial service for him. So, of course, we get the return of Delia Dietz, played by Catherine O'Hara, so original actor, and her having to kind of give this information to Lydia Dietz, Winona Ryder, again, the original actor. Delia's still Delia. She's doing some performance art thing in like Soho. I don't know. I'm not quite sure they said where it was. But okay, right, Delia. And Lydia, apparently can now speak with the dead freely. She has sort of a podcast, a television show, probably both, called Ghost House, in which she meets with people who live in haunted houses. And, you know, kind of talk about, she tries to go and meet their ghosts and try to help them reach an accord.
The living, the dead, can they coexist?
Now, meanwhile, in the years that have passed, Lydia got married and had a daughter and buried her husband, who also died in some kind of freak accident. So she has her daughter, Astrid, who's roughly about the same age as Lydia was in the first movie, so roughly around 14, 15 years old. Astrid is played by Jenna Ortega. And Jenna Ortega, of course, you would know, like from the series Wednesday, right? Obviously, a lot of people know her from that. So Jenna Ortega is Astrid, and Astrid does not like her mom at all. The relationship is probably even more contentious than the relationship Lydia had with Delia. Ouch, right? So you see that mirror of the relationship generationally. The way that Lydia and Delia never got along for reasons. And now you have Astrid and Lydia who don't get along for reasons.
I can't believe Grandpa's dead.
Death is hard.
Yeah, sometimes I think life is harder.
They get together for memorial service. Turns out they still own the house in Winter River. I don't think anyone actually lives there. I think, you know, Delia went off to do Delia things, and Charles went off to do Charles things, and the house has probably been sitting empty for a long time, but it still has all their stuff in it. So Delia, being Delia, decides she's going to do this whole big performance art piece on the art of grief, and turns it, yeah, Delia. Delia.
My mom grew up here. That old house on the hill.
Wait, the ghost house? Is your mom Lydia Dietz?
Unfortunately.
Astrid's not very proud of her mom's success. Is not very, doesn't really believe it, to be honest. Thinks she's just like some, storefront gypsy. Just kind of conning people, kind of a John Edward kind of scenario, right? That's what she thinks of her mom. Like, the hate is real.
Ghosts aren't real. Only gullible people believe that kind of crap.
Okay, so from the trailers, we already know. We have Beetlejuice's ex-wife. Okay, it's not a spoiler. We already know that this is the case. The ex-wife named Dolores. Dolores, who is played by Monica Bellucci. She was also in The Brothers Grimm and the Matrix trilogy. She played Persephone. I think Persephone's in all three, but I know she was in the first two as Persephone. So she is Dolores, the ex-wife of Beetlejuice, and
What the
if you remember, of course, in the original movie, where he has the finger that already has a ring on it. Well, that's Dolores. And she mad and looking for him. Again, this is Monica Bellucci who plays the character, and I gotta tell you, man, her design is the best. I love her look. I love the way she plays the character. I almost wish we'd gotten more of her. More than like the Scooby-Doo thing that we did get. I would love to have gotten more of her. She is amazing in this, and her look is just stunning.
recognize this process. Never seen that chick before in my life or afterlife.
Now, related to the Dolores storyline, we have Willem Dafoe, who is playing a character. I can't remember his character's name right now. It's like Wolf Firebrand or something like that. Obviously, he is dead. He is the ghost of some action hero guy who believes his own hype. He's also apparently Beetlejuice's security. So he's kind of part of trying to keep Dolores away from him. So that's another level to the Scooby-Doo aspect. And the Willem Dafoe is good in everything, okay? He could read the days of the week, and I'd give him an Oscar, just because Willem Dafoe. So.
Where's Beetlejuice?
Where's Beetlejuice?
You realize that Delia just can't survive on her own as an adult. And you see this play out throughout the whole thing. I can make some arguments about the Delia Dietz storyline. My partner feels that Delia didn't evolve. In fact, she probably devolved from when we met her, 30 years ago. I, on the other hand, feel like everybody grieves differently. And the fact that she turns basically the memorial service into a performance piece, it's kind of on brand for Delia. And then, of course, we have the story of Lydia, who is now this ghost hunter, or not ghost hunter, I don't know what you'd call it, spiritual investigator, that she does this. And now she has a business partner / manager, goes by the name of Rory. Now, Rory is actually played by Justin Theroux, and I know him from a little show called The Leftovers. But he also did appear in The Last Jedi, and he was also in Zoolander 2. And I will fist fight for the Zoolander films. I love them. Don't bring any hate for Zoolander here.
You're a figment of my imagination.
Really? Is this a figment of your imagination?
Ooh, is he smarmy? Just spewing new age nonsense and ugh. Yeah, he's really unlikable from the jump, and as the movie goes on, you'll like him even less. But you get the feeling that Lydia is kind of beholden to this guy. Now, Lydia, it's kind of taken as read that Lydia's been through a lot of trauma. Has had a lot of tragedy in her life. That she's been through a lot. As you figure with going through the whole events of the first film, and then having, buried her husband, raising her child alone, now the death of her father, right? This is a lot. And somewhere along the way, I feel like Lydia kind of lost her fire. And that's how she sort of ended up kind of getting railroaded into this career with this manager. Now again, my partner kind of felt that Lydia seemed weak. Was actually disappointed that it felt like Lydia had actually just withdrawn, that she was never a shrinking violet originally. So my partner didn't care too much for the way that she kind of came off here, but Again, I disagree because I feel that it's taken as read everything she's been through, and that would change you.
The juice is loose.
And then, of course, there's our boy Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is running a call center in the Netherworld now. So I guess you have like a, 888 I'm dead number you can call to get help. I don't know if this is part of his bioexorcist scam, or if maybe he's taken over for Juno. Of course, the actress who originally played Juno passed away, so obviously she is not in the movie. But I think this is how they're kind of covering the fact that we don't actually have those caseworkers anymore. That there's no one there, right? That Beetlejuice is doing a call center now. So it's probably a scam, because Beetlejuice.
I'm needed upstairs.
So Beetlejuice's entire call center is populated by the little shrunken head dudes, but like a whole tribe of them. Remember in the original movie with the headhunter, right? And he switches the numbers. Hey, you want to tell me how to get him so small? What is it? I almost feel like he hired the guy to make him an army. They all have different names. But when you go to see this movie, I'd like you to focus on Bob. Just Bob. We love you, Bob.
Bob, you and the boys stand guard. Nobody gets through.
First of all, please understand all the special effects are practical. This is all done very much in the same vein as the original. Apparently, that was the one thing that both Michael Keaton and Tim Burton absolutely wanted. So we have the stop-motion sandworms, everything. I believe that Michael Keaton referred to it as he wanted the original lo-fi look of the original. And we absolutely get that. Beautiful art design, beautiful set design, great use of lights and stuff. I mean, it's not like a crap movie. But it's all done for real in camera, which, I appreciate that they did that. So the effects, there's like 100 people listed on special effects, like quite literally. So I'm just gonna focus on the one name that I'm pretty sure I saw in the opening credits, and that was Chris Barlow. Among other things, he worked on Andor and Doctor Who. So this guy done some stuff. He had a boatload of other things, but these are the two things that stood out to me when I looked at his stuff. Our score, Danny Elfman, obvi, right? And directed by Tim Burton, obvi. Our director of photography, Harris Samberlakis, sorry, was our director of photography. He worked on an award-winning film called Belfast, also Mamma Mia, and Artemis Fowl. If you've seen Artemis Fowl, he was director of photography on those as well. So he's our DP on this movie. Now we have 3 writers. Our writers are okay, Alfred Goh. Sorry. He was a writer on Smallville and Spider-Man 2 and Wednesday. Okay. We also have Miles Millar, who was a writer on those same 3 films. So those 2 guys have worked together before. And before you think we're going to get a hat trick on this on the 3rd writer, no, we're not. Our 3rd writer is Seth Grahame-Smith, who was actually the writer of Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies and Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, of the original novels. So, didn't get the hat trick on that one. But these are our 3 writers, right?
You should help me save my daughter.
And how do I know that you're going to keep your word?
I swear I'm a good person. Yes.
Our cast is pretty much as you expected. There's no need to really talk too much about that. We all know who all those people are. Now, a couple things I would like to point out, though, is, first of all, let's talk about Bob. Okay, Bob. Bob is actually being played by Nick Kellington. And I was really entertained when I pulled up this guy's IMDb because he actually is a professional puppeteer and creature maker. But he's worked on a boatload of things, like a lot of things. I'm just going to give you the 3 that I found the most entertaining. Muppets Most Wanted, Rogue One, Teletubbies. There's a couple other side characters too. Like Olga is a character you see for a little bit. She's, I guess, the assistant to Wolf Firebrand, whatever his name was, to Willem Dafoe's character. Loved her. She's great. Great design. She's only in it for a little bit, but she's so memorable. There's also the coffee lady. I did not get the name of the character, so I cannot tell you who plays the coffee lady, but watch for the coffee lady. We also have a beautiful character in the real world, and this one I'm only calling out because I realized who it was, and always making me happy to see this guy get work. There's a character called Father Damien. He's a real world priest that we meet in the actual reality on Earth. He is played by Bern Gorman. All my Doctor Who fans, is Owen from Torchwood, kids. I'm always happy to see him show up in anything. I love him. He's really funny in this. This guy can do deadpan like nobody's business. I friggin' love him. Apropos of nothing, by the way, he also does appear in Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. If you follow Hunger Games, he's a character in that as well.
It's Beetlejuice.
Don't ever say that name.
Beetlejuice.
No, Astrid, I am serious.
One thing I do want to point out, by the way, is that there are references throughout the movie to the Beetlejuice animated series from 1989. If anybody ever watched that show, I was a huge fan. There are references to the cartoon, like, throughout the movie. They're just throwaways, visual gags, but they're there, and you see them. There's also references to The Corpse Bride. There might even be more stuff. There might be Nightmare Before Christmas references in there. I don't know. I'm going to have to see it again, because I'm sure I missed a lot of things. But just the fact that it referenced the cartoon and the throwaway to The Corpse Bride made me really, really friggin' happy. I don't know if there's references to the musical, to the Beetlejuice musical. I feel like there are, but I'm not 100% if what I saw is what I thought I saw. So I'm definitely going to have to watch it again and just kind of figure that out for myself. But just FYI, watch for stuff, because there's a lot of stuff.
Beetlejuice.
There is one other thing I would like to point out. Something that I noticed in the movie. My partner didn't agree with me. But I'm going to throw this out to you guys. So when you see it, if you see this same thing, if you agree with me or disagree with me, let me know. So one of the things I kind of seem to notice is that there seemed to be this kind of underlying theme throughout the whole movie that was suggesting trauma, generational trauma, neglect, abuse, the way that families pass that down, and the way that we don't even realize we've passed that poison down the line. Even with Beetlejuice and Dolores, with all of the characters, I found this underlying theme, that it was saying something about how families either come together or fall apart in the face of trauma and of tragedy. Rating system. All right, guys. Rating system in a 1 out of 5, with 5 being the best. I am going to say 3.5. 3.5. I do have notes about some things that I'm not going to talk about right now because they'd be spoilers. And my partner brought up some very valid points on things that they were kind of judging as far as their notes were concerned. So you might find things that will give you notes as well. But I'm going to say 3.5. It's definitely worth watching. It's definitely fun. Truth of the matter is, it's a Beetlejuice movie. He's back, guys. The juice is loose. Let's just do this. All right, kids. That's it for my special edition review. Hopefully you guys are going to go see it. Definitely comment to me down below. Let me know, what you thought of it when you saw it and what observations you may or may not have had. I'd be curious to see what people think. And if you want to subscribe, there's a button over here someplace. You can hit the button and subscribe, and you'll get access to all my other stuff.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.